Hi Abhishek, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, how are you doing?
Yes, I'm good. Thanks for asking. Could you let me know brief about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, myself, Abhishek Jadhav. I'm having 3+ years of experience as a SQL database administrator. Currently working in Tech Mahindra in healthcare domain, and we are a team of 12 members working together to provide 24/7 support. On the daily basis, we are working on all the tickets like incident, service requests, and also change requests whenever you are working on the production level changes. And after that, after taking the shift handover from the previous shift engineer, we have to check all the pending tickets. Is there any ongoing issues there? And is there any changes, no scheduled? We have to check everything and we have to work accordingly. And currently, I'm working for L1 and L2 support in our project because we have a dedicated team for L3, which are taken care by the senior persons. And we are mainly taking care of user requests like creating logins, granting the accesses, and also resetting the passwords and creating jobs and alerts. And also working on alerts like disk space, issues, log file full issues, streaking the databases, doing the patching on monthly basis. And I have good experience on log shipping, database mirroring, and also always on configuration. And we also do some troubleshooting part. And on the daily basis, we have to do the health checks for the critical servers. And also have experience in working with blockings and deadlocks as well. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Okay, Abhishek. Yeah, thank you for introducing about yourself. Let me introduce myself also. I'm Asma. I have 7 years of experience as a SQL database administrator on-prem, and I'm the senior resource available at my project, Kent. So we are hiring here about troubleshooting basis. It's a break fix team where you have to work here. So I think you are going with all the project in depth where I found in your resume and in your introduction as well. So let me start about few questions. Okay. So you said that you have tried about the troubleshooting part in the log shipping and replication as well, right?
Yes.
So I think you can troubleshoot everything around log shipping, is it?
Yes, I can.
Could you let me know what is the main difference between the log shipping and mirroring?
Log shipping and mirroring both are database level high availabilities. But comes to the log shipping, the
Mm-hmm.
synchronization is happening through the jobs like backup job at the primary side and copy and restore job at the secondary side. And we
Mm-hmm.
don't have automatic failover option in log shipping. We have to do it manually. And there is a possible data loss in log shipping. And coming to the mirroring, it is also a database level high availability, but it has the automatic failover option. And data synchronization is happening through the endpoints. And in log shipping, we have to create this shared folders and all, and we have to give the permissions and everything. In mirroring, we don't have to create any shared folders and all. And in log shipping, the SQL Server agent should be online because it is running basis on the jobs. In mirroring, we don't need any SQL Server agent help.
Mm-hmm.
And in log shipping, we can configure one primary and multiple secondaries, up to three secondaries we can configure. In mirroring, we can configure only one primary and one secondary. In log shipping, we can read the database from the secondary if we configure the log shipping with standby mode. In mirroring, we cannot read the database from the secondary. There is no options like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
think these are the differences I found.
Okay, what is the highest SQL version you have worked till now?
2019 we have.
Okay. In your organization, you're currently working on which SQL Server version?
We have mixed versions actually. We have 2016, 17, and also like, we follow n minus one like formula. Like we don't use latest version. We use only latest version minus one. So that's why we 2019 is the highest version.
Okay. Could you let me know what is the best practice to apply a patch on a SQL Server?
Yes, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we have to check some prerequisites like before applying the patch. There are some we have to raise the change, and we have to get the approvals, and we have to check some health checks before that, like pre-deployment task will be there. Like first we have to check, is there any jobs are running on the same time whenever we are applying the
Okay.
patch. If there any jobs are running at the same time, we have to disable those jobs. Otherwise, the jobs will fail and we'll be getting an alerts. And also, it's good to stop the SQL services before applying the patch.
Mm-hmm.
And after after applying the patch, after restarting the services server, then we can start the SQL services. Or else, if the services are automatic, the services will be up automatically. And whatever the jobs we disabled, we have to enable those jobs, and we have to run them manually.
Okay. Can we take a backup of system database?
We have four system databases like master, model, MSDB, and MDB. Yes, we can take the backup of the system databases except temporary database. Because it's since it is storing the temporary data, we cannot take the backup of MDB. Other databases, we can take the backups.
I just want to confirm one more time from you. Oh, let me know how many system databases are there.
We have four master, model, MSDB, and MDB, and others like distribution database also there. Whenever you're configuring the replication, a distribution database will be created, and other hidden database is also there. That is a resource. So we cannot
Mm-hmm.
take backup for resource and distribution database also.
Yeah, here you are. I just want to hear this from you. There is a one more database called resource database. Yeah, that sounds good. Let me go deep into this. Do you know what are the types of pages available in the SQL Server?
Yes. So
Please
in
go
SQL
ahead.
Server, we have different types of pages like data page that contains, data, and index page that contains index entries, and also text and image page that contains text and as well as, image data. And also we have a GAM page, that is global allocation map, that contains information about whether the extents are allocated or not. And we have also a shared global allocation map, which contains information about the mixed allocation. And also we have page free space, PFS, that contains the information about the page allocation and free space available on pages. And also index allocation map, IAM page, which is contains information about the extents used by a table or an index. And also bulk changer map, BCM, that contains the information regarding the extent that are modified by the bulk operations. And also finally we have the DCM page, which contains the differential changes, like the extents which are changed by the differential changes.
Mhm. Okay. Could you let me know what is differential backup? What is the difference between like a full backup and a differential backup? What will
If
be
we
the major change? Yeah.
if we take the full backup, it will captures the whole data which is present in the database. Comes to the
Mm-hmm.
differential uh, backup, it will checks for the recent full backup, and it captures the changes after the full backup. Whatever the changes has been made after the full backup, those information will be captured by the differential backup.
Okay. And do you know on what mechanism does the differential backup works on?
Yes, those changes are changed. As I said earlier, like those changes are stored in DCM page whenever we.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That is what I want to hear from you. So, as you explained, there is a DCM page. So, based on that, it is going to work. Okay. And you are saying you are working as a L1 and L2. However, I just want to check a few things around isolation level. Do you know what is the isolation level and what is the default isolation level?
Isolation is like one of the acid properties we have. Isolation is one of
Mm-hmm.
them. And
Mm-hmm.
the default isolation, I can see it is a read committed is the default isolation level for the SQL Server.
Yes, it's right. And what is the checkpoint and what is the lazy writer?
Checkpoint is the point at which the data is flushes from log file to data file. The particular point we can call it as a checkpoint. So based on the different recovery models, we have different checkpoints like automatic checkpoint, manual checkpoint, direct and indirect checkpoints. So based on the recovery models. And coming to the lazy writer is a mechanism that can removes the data from the data cache and write backs the data to the disk with the help of LRU algorithm. Like whenever the new data enter into the data cache, the old data has to remove from the data cache. That is done by the lazy writer. The old data we call it as dirty pages. So the lazy writer writes these dirty pages back to the disk.
Okay, what is LRU?
That is least recently used. Based on this LRU algorithm only, the dirty pages can be removed from the data cache.
It's yes, least
Recent used,
used.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, could you explain the SQL Server architecture?
Yes. See, whenever the user runs any query, it has to go through the different levels in the background. Like first, it will go to the SNA layer. There is a SQL Network Interface layer, which contains three protocols like named pipes, shared memory, and TCP/IP. So based on the type of connection, if connection is good, it will go to the command parser, or else it will throw an error. After it is going to the command parser, it will check two things like synthetic errors and semantic errors. After checking
Mhm.
these two errors, it will go to the, if everything good, and it will go to the query optimizer. If anything wrong, then it will throw an error. So after it go to the query optimizer, it is creating a best execution plan to execute the query based on the statistics available. And the query executor will send the same query to the access methods. So access methods is the thing like which um, decide it is a select statement or non-select statement. If it is a non-select statement, it will go to the transaction manager and then it will go to the transaction log file. If it is a select statement, it will go to the buffer manager, which contains plan cache, data cache, and buffer pool. If the particular data
Mhm.
is present in the data cache, it will fetch the data from the data cache. This process we call it as logical reads. If the particular data is not available in the data cache, it has to go back to the data file, which is in a physical disk, and it has to fetch the data from the data file. This process we call it as a physical reads.
Okay, I would appreciate that the explanation of your SQL architecture is good.
Thanks.
And so, have you got any chance to configure always on?
Yes.
So, I just want to hear what is always on and how do you configure it?
Always on is one of the database level high availabilities we have, but we can add multiple databases into the AG group. That was we have an advantage of it. And coming to the configuration, first we have to create an availability group with the unique group name. And then we have to add the replicas. Here we can call servers as a replicas. So we can add one primary and up to 8 secondary replicas. And after that, we have to add databases into the AG group. For that, we have to follow three prerequisites like the database should be in a full recovery model and at least a full backup has been happened on the particular database, and the database should not be participated in the database mirroring. So after checking the prerequisites, we have to add the databases into the AG group, and then we have to configure readable secondary. We have three options in the readable secondary, like readable secondary yes, no, and read intent only. If you can select yes, users can able to read the database from the secondary. If you select no, users cannot read the database from the secondary. If you select read intent only, it will be acting as a load balancer. And even though you can try to select the data from the primary, it will go to the secondary and it will fetch the data from the secondary. For that, we have to configure the a read-only routing list. And we have also backup preference options. Unlike all other high availabilities, we can
Mm-hmm.
take the backups from the secondary as well. For that, we have different options like prefer secondary, secondary only, primary, and any replica. So we have to select as per our requirement. And later on, we have data initialization options, different options we have. Like after 2016, we have automatic seeding option or full backup option. So we have to select the two automatic seeding option if it is 2016, and the databases will be created automatically in all other replicas. And we can also configure listener, although it is an optional. We can use the benefit of listener if we have multiple secondaries. So listener is the one which can always connect to the primary. See, if you have
Mm-hmm.
multiple secondaries and automatic failover is configured, the
Mm-hmm.
primary will move on continuously. Sometimes P1 is the primary, sometimes P2 is the secondary. Like that, it will keep on changing. So in that case, the listener will help you to connect always the primary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds good. And while installing the SQL Server, so you have already worked on SQL 2017, if I'm not wrong. Is that?
Yes.
So while installing the SQL Server, what is the difference between while installing in SQL 2017 and 2019? Have you observed any major changes over there?
Yes, while installing 2019, I can see they have added some server level configuration during the installation, like
Right.
configuration of max memory and min memory, and also
Mm-hmm.
max top value. These
Mm-hmm.
values we can configure here itself during the installation itself.
Yeah, this is the major change which we can observe, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Let me know what is a difference between deadlock and blocking.
Yeah, like to maintain this data consistency, SQL Server follows this ACID properties. So the same if multiple users are trying to access the same database or a table. Only one user is able to access the table or a database, and all other users are has to wait for actually wait has to wait. So for that, the lock is assigned on the particular table, so others are unable to access the same table, so they has to wait for some time. So this waiting process, we can call it as a blocking. And coming to the deadlock, if two sessions are trying to access the same table, if the two users are blocking each other, two sessions are blocking each other, this situation we
Mm-hmm.
call it as a deadlock.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, Abhishek, could you elaborate what is this acid property? What is this acid known to be?
Yes. So, as I said before, like to maintain this data consistency and everything, to avoid these dirty reads, the SQL Server itself, it maintains ACID properties like atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. We have the SQL Server itself; it follows these four properties, to avoid these dirty reads, to maintain the data consistency and everything.
Okay, what is the RAM you are allocating for the SQL Server at your organization right now?
If it is Windows Server, like 75% of the total RAM we will be configuring. For example, if the Windows Server is having 100 GB of RAM, the 75% of the no, like 75 GB we configure for SQL Server. Sometimes if the RAM is high, like if we have 300 GB or like 800 GB RAM, then we can configure more than 75% also. Make sure that the Windows server should have at least 10 to 20 GB of RAM.
Okay, what are the database states available in Always On? Like, I want to just elaborate the question. If you want to check the Always On, how it is working, and if you want to troubleshoot anything, what is the thing you are going to use?
We can use this always on dashboard. We can check whether AG group is healthy or not, what is the status of the databases, if they are synchronizing or synchronized, not synchronized, or the status we can check there in always on dashboard.
Okay. So in the health events, we can check that, right?
Yes.
What is the SLA you are using?
For our
What
project, the
are you
SLA is
using?
like we have four priorities. We have like P1, P2, P3, and P4. P1 is the highest priority, and P4 is the lowest priority. We have um, initial response SLA we have and resolution SLA we have. For P1, the initial response SLA is like 30 minutes. Within 30 minutes, we have to assign the ticket. And the resolution SLA is like 4 hours. We have to give the resolution within 4 hours. For P2, it is 3 hours for initial response, and we have to give the resolution in 8 hours. And for P3,
Mhm.
the initial response is like 5 hours, and we have to give the resolution in 24 hours. For P4, the initial response would be 8 hours, and we have to give the resolution in 2 days.
On an average, how many tickets you will get in a week or in a month?
For a week, we will be getting on the team basis, I don't know, but per person, we'll be getting to almost we'll be getting 30 to 50 tickets on a weekly basis. It depends. Like on Monday, Tuesday, we'll be getting more tickets. On weekends, we'll be getting less tickets. So not on an average, we'll be getting 30 to 50 tickets.
Okay, yes, Abhishek, I'm done with you. So I have one more like panel I need to go on. Uh, so do you have anything else to go with me? I'm done with this and I'm good with you. So
Okay.
my HR will reach out to you further, okay, about
Okay.
this.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
No, I'm good actually. I don't have any questions actually.
Yes, Abhishek. We'll see you later, and my HR will provide the rest of the details which you require on this. Thank you. Thank
Thanks.
you for your
Thanks
time.
for your time as well. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Good day. Bye bye.